Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. Today I have an email I want to share because I think it will be very inspirational if you were dating someone and they ghosted you or they just walked away and really never gave you an explanation as to why it was over. So here we go. She says, many years ago I was dating a man I was madly in love with. We dated for 9 months and then he stopped calling and I didn't call him either. I've always wondered what happened and why he disappeared. Recently, I Googled his name and found an article about him. In this article, I learned several interesting facts. First of all, he's been married for 34 years. That means he got married in 1984 and he dumped me in the fall of 1983. What? Who gets married that fast? He was a year younger than me, so that also means he got married when he was only 23 years old. The article also mentioned they have 3 kids. One kid was born in 1981, so he had a baby of about 2 years old when he met me. When we met, I believe he didn't know he had this baby and was not in contact with the mother because he introduced me to his friends and even invited me to meet his parents. He did mention one time he had an old girlfriend that he got pregnant, and he paid for her to have an abortion. It seems very clear now that he found out he had a baby after we met, and he started distancing himself. It was so bizarre since I wondered what I was doing wrong. It was the most painful breakup I've ever had, and took me a year to get over this guy. I always wondered, what on earth could I have done differently? But now I realize absolutely nothing. And it gives me peace of mind knowing this, even though it was so many years ago. Because when you fall in love with someone, you'll never forget that person. Knowing this gives me closure, and I would never have dreamed in a million years that this was the reason why. But on account of that breakup, it actually really changed me. I'm not sure if it was for the better or not, but I made a decision that I would never again make any man a priority in my life. My career would come first. And I decided I would never count on a man to take care of me. I became laser focused on being successful. I eventually started a company, sold it, and retired in my 40s. And now spend my life doing what most people dream of, traveling. My husband and I have been to over 100 countries so far and will soon leave on a 9-month cruise around the world. Nice. I wanted to share my story in case someone is in a similar position of wondering what happened to an ex. I realized you just never really know what's going on in someone's life. That is so true, and that's why I wanted to share this email, because it is so painful when you're in love with someone and all of a sudden they disappear, you have no closure. It's like they died, and except they're not dead. They're still walking around as far as you know, and you don't know why they're not in contact. But what's interesting about this story is it seems that if he hadn't disappeared in that way, if he hadn't ghosted her before ghosting was even a term, she may not have been as successful as she was, possibly. We never know, right? Because she said it actually changed her, which means that before she probably wasn't as focused on career, and after that she became focused on career, and she wouldn't have had this life that she now has of traveling around the world. Who doesn't want to spend their life traveling around the world? Maybe she would have married him and they would have had a nice life together, or maybe they would have dated for a while and then broken up and she would have married someone else, but she wouldn't have been changed to the point of deciding to just focus on career. So almost in a way, she kind of owes her lifestyle to him, because if he hadn't ghosted her, she may not have become so successful. Who knows? We'll never know. So if you have been ghosted, if someone disappeared, if you don't have closure on a relationship, have hope. You never know what was actually going on. It may not necessarily have been something you were doing or not doing, said or didn't say, so don't beat yourself up too hard. Maybe one day you'll find out, but there's always a reason. So if you have any questions or comments, or you are interested in private coaching with me, please contact me at my website, theartoflove.net. please use the form on that website and don't email me directly, as there's a very good possibility that your email may end up in the spam folder. If you're listening to this on iTunes, I would appreciate if you would rate and review the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you for subscribing. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.